I'm going to show you a new class called random that we can use. And I'm also going to reiterate the use of a while loop. So if you look at this program, it's a game, and the game makes the user pick a number from 1 to 10, and then it generates random numbers from 1 to 10 until it matches, and then it keeps track of how many guesses it had to take before it got the answer correct. So this setup right here is pretty much normal, printing out the information. Here we're constructing a new scanner to use. This is what is new. So there is a random class, and what we're doing is we're constructing a new random object, and the identifier is R for that. The name of this object is R. So once we construct that, we're going to go ahead and print out to the user, say, hey, pick a number between 1 and 10. All right, we're using the scanner here to collect that number. So next int from the console. Here we have our priming our while loop. So we set the result variable to -1 because it doesn't interfere with our game. -1 is not between 1 and 10, but it will also let us enter the while loop. So we also have another variable called count that we're going to use to keep track of how many times we go through the while loop. And here is the while loop itself. If you take a look at the test, it's if result is not equal to number. So result is the number that gets generated, and number is the number that came up here from the scanner. All right, and if you look down here, basically our variable result gets R is our random object. Now, the random class has methods that we can call. One of the methods is nextInt. So generate an integer. So .nextInt generates an integer. It accepts a parameter. So in this case, the parameter is 10. The problem is that Java uses index 0. And so 10, a parameter of 10, actually generates a number between 0 and 9. And so to fix that, we need to add 1. So here's another instance where index 0 comes into play, and we can't forget that. So that will generate a number from 1 to 10, not 0 to 9, because we're adding 1 right here. All right, here we simply print out to the screen what the next number is and what result is. And here we increment count to keep track of how many times we go through the number. And then we test again. If result is not equal to number, we go through the loop. If it does, we exit. And then we have this to print out the information at the end, how many times it went through. And here we go. Let's run the program and see what it looks like. I'm going to compile. And looks like, here we go. Compile. And let's run the program. All right, I'm going to pick number 6, and we go ahead and run it. Looks like it went through 21 times. All right, there you can see the numbers being generated. It can repeat numbers, it's fine, but it took 21 times for it to generate the number 6. All right, and so the last thing we're going to point out are these comments down at the bottom here. There is another method, or I should say nextInt. Has a range of -2 to the 31st power all the way to +2 to the 31st power, -1. Remember, index 0. All right, and passing this line right here is exactly what we used in our program up here. All right, and lastly, it also, or I should say second to last, there's also a random method called nextDouble, and that generates a number between 0.0, so it includes that, it's inclusive of that, and 1.0, so it does not include 1.0. It's all the numbers up to 1.0, but not including it. And then lastly, next Boolean actually generates true or false. The easiest way to think of that one is like flipping a coin. Okay, so there you have it, random object, random methods, and we're also practicing using a while loop.